Okay, welcome back to another episode of Third and 23. I'm your host, Alex, here to talk Vols, Sooners, night game, primetime, game of the week in OU in Norman, Oklahoma. So this game's got a lot of factors around it. This is the Josh Heupel return. So Josh Heupel, the coach for Tennessee, for those of you who don't know, he was the quarterback for the last time Oklahoma won the national title back in the year 2000. He's Heisman runner-up that year. Later on, eventually in his coaching career, he became the offensive coordinator for Oklahoma. And then he was kind of the scapegoat, I guess you could say, back in 2015, the scapegoat for why they weren't performing that well. And he got the boot, a national title winning quarterback, an alum, you know, eh, and the fans basically turned on him. Everybody kind of turned on him, blamed him for their offensive issues, and he was out. And he's got to carry that with him. But before we get more into that, let's look at the teams. So you look at Tennessee, they're led by Nico at quarterback. Big time NFL prospect. He's potentially could be a future number one overall pick. And he's been cooking this year. Right now, he's got the Tennessee offense ranked second in the country, averaging 639 yards per game. Now, you could sit here and say, oh, man, look at the teams. You look at the last three, I put the last three, they've only played 3 games. Chattanooga, had over 700 yards, but that's a practice game. Kent State, over 700 yards. That's not really an FCS. It's a MAC team. Not a great MAC team, but it's a MAC team. But NC State sandwiched in between there, 51 points, 460 yards. Now, Nico did have 2 picks in that game, or they could have had more, but still 460 with a 51 burger. That ain't bad. So that Tennessee offense is balling. You got Dylan Sampson at running back, who definitely balances him out. Dylan Sampson always looked good. He always flashed, but you had Jalen Wright and other guys ahead of him last year. Now he's getting the opportunity to be the lead dog, and you saw the flashes. You knew he was going to be good, and he's as good as advertised. He's as good as you thought he was going to be. So Dylan Sampson is balancing out this offense with a great running attack, balancing out Nico to Brew McCoy and you know uh, Squirrel White and all these other receivers. They just have a plethora of receivers that they spread the ball around to. Then you look at defensively, well, Tennessee actually been kind of balling on defense too, ranked second in the country right now, only giving up 160 yards per game. Now, do I think Tennessee is the second best defense in the country? I do not. But they've surprised me. I thought they were going to have a good front seven, but I thought they're going to have issues in the secondary. But so far, you haven't really seen that. And they went against Grayson McCall, who had hype, right? And he got Concepcion out there, so he's got somebody to throw to and all that. And Tennessee's defense completely erased Grayson McCall in that NC State offense. So Tennessee's defense has come to play. Now you look at Oklahoma. Oklahoma, they've been hit with the injury bugaboo, I guess you could say, at one unit receiver. They lost two of, you could say, their top four receivers in the preseason. They're out for the year. Then Andrell Anthony, I don't believe he's even played this year. He's supposed to play in this game, and Nick Anderson has not played yet this year. He's supposed to play in this game. So at least they're supposed to get some guys back. So that's going to help them out, help them offensively. Because Jackson Arnold, the quarterback for Oklahoma, he's kind of had a rough go of it. You haven't really been paying attention to it, but he's not really pushing the ball down the field. He's not really being consistent. And that's one of the main reasons why Oklahoma ranks 108th right now in offensive yards per game. And take a look at their schedule. I'd make the argument that Tennessee's schedule would be tougher because NC State's better than anybody OU's played. Against Temple, you see 51-3. Oh, well, 50 burger. They didn't even hit 400 yards of offense in that game. Temple had 6 turnovers in that game, and Jackson Arnold was not very consistent. He was not very good in that game. Houston, they beat Houston 16-12. When do you know if Houston is being some offensive or some defensive powerhouse? You don't. 16 points. Two were a safety, so really 14 points. Houston has quarterback Donovan Smith, very good QB. I think he's got a chance to be like a late round NFL draft pick. He's played a lot of football. He went 24 for 28, I think 260 in that game. They controlled the clock. They had the ball for 35 minutes. So OU couldn't even get off the field defensively. They had a bend don't break thing going on, so they got their stops when they needed it. But they had issues against Donovan Smith and the Houston Cougars offense as far as getting them off the field. And the Sooner offense had issues just overall with that Houston Cougars defense. And then Tulane's always been like a thorn in P4 team side, so scrappy team. Tennessee looked a little, or sorry, OU looked a little better in this game. They beat them 34-19. Uh, the running game, Jackson Arnold again wasn't doing well passing the ball, but he had some big runs in that game. Javante Barnes at running back had some effective runs, I guess you could say, in that game. But they really need Nick Anderson and Andrel Anthony to be what they were, to be what OU fans think that they are. They need them to be that this game. Even though this is their first game they're playing, they need them to be that this game. So then when you're looking at this matchup, you have to say to yourself, can Oklahoma's offense score enough to keep pace with the Tennessee defense? Because to me, I'm looking at OU's defense, and I don't think they're going to slow down Tennessee. If they couldn't get off the field against Houston, they're not going to get off the field against Tennessee. So can OU's offense keep pace? Jackson Arnold hasn't been consistent. He's got these receivers coming back, but what's the chemistry going to be like? I don't really see the running balance because they don't have a big time running game to help him out. I know this is in Norman, Oklahoma, and it's a prime time night game in Norman, Oklahoma. Fans are gonna go crazy. But just this the return of Josh Heupel, and I know you gotta have a bad taste in your mouth off of how that ended. You know he's gonna try to put one on him, and I'm with him. I'm going with Tennessee. I'm laying the 6.5. I think Tennessee's gonna win by a lot more than a touchdown. So give me the Vols in this one. And so that about wraps it up. I just want to real quick. Actually going on vacation, so I will not have a college football video, any college football videos for the next 2 Saturdays, unfortunately. I'm gone for 2 weeks. And I won't have an NFL video for next week, but I will come back that following Saturday and I'll do an NFL video for that Sunday. So I'll miss one NFL Sunday and 2 college Saturdays. I mean, it is what it is, man. We all need vacations, right? But anyways, if you like the content, please like, follow, subscribe, all of that, as you're going to see my YouTube handle here in a few seconds. Take care.